Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena, this is the Morning Sports Desk. I'm CJ Baumgartner, and we got a lot to talk about on our National Signing Day edition of the Morning Sports Desk, where seniors across central Minnesota have announced their college commitments, and they've maybe announced them before, but this is the official day where they get to put pen to paper and make that decision official, and the colleges and universities get to announce it, and it's all a big fun time, and that means we get to talk about it here on today's episode of the Morning Sports Desk, which is powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. And Wednesdays are double points Wednesdays at the FunZone Arcade. And every Wednesday through December 31st through the end of the year, FunZone Rewards members can earn double point rewards on all online and in-store FunZone purchases up to $100. Purchases must be added to a FunZone card registered to your FunZone Rewards account. And if you're not a FunZone Rewards member, that's super easy. You just click the QR code on the screen when you watch the Morning Sports Desk on YouTube. We got a little QR code there. It's also on the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena's Facebook page. You go to that QR code, you sign up for a FunZone Rewards account. You become a member, and boom, you can join in on Double Points Wednesdays, which takes place every Wednesday at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. They are proud sponsors of the Morning Sports Desk. And also, when you go to the FunZone Arcade, you get to fuel up with the country's best chicken, mashed potatoes, pizza, salad bar, desserts, just so much that you can enjoy at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena, proud sponsors of the Morning Sports Desk. Okay, today is National Signing Day, which means we get to take a look at where our favorite athletes in central Minnesota are going to be playing collegiately coming up next year. And before we get into all that, I want to mention we did have an interview with Henning Hornets senior guard on boys basketball, Kale Misegades, and he's going to have that interview coming up just a little bit later in the show. So stick around for that on his commitment to Southwest Minnesota State University men's basketball. That commitment was official earlier this morning, but there's plenty other places we can go to in our search for what's going on in central Minnesota. Of course, our friends KLIZ, the fan over in Brainerd, had a little Facebook post. They were at the official commitment for one Tori Orline, who is going to be playing collegiately for the University of Minnesota. She made her commitment to become a Golden Gopher, and as you can kind of see in the little video there, it's her making that official announcement, and it's got some family there, obviously, coaches, players, everybody there at the Crosby Ironton High School and at the gym making that announcement. So congratulations to Tori Orline. That has been one that's been known about for a while, but officially the Gophers can acknowledge that she is going to be playing for them next year. Of course, one of the highest profile girls basketball players in the state of Minnesota, staying home with the Gophers. It's awesome, and you love to see it there. Some other things going on with commitments across the region. This is one that was announced way back on Monday, but still feel like we should take the time to give it its fair coverage here. As Tori Orline committed for Crosby Ironton, we go back now to Staples Motley in cross country, where Audrey Brunell made her college commitment. She is going to run for the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes, not just in cross country, but also in track and field. Made that decision from the nest on Monday night. Made that decision to commit, now officially gets to sign the letter of intent today. And overall, a great moment for one of the most decorated runners, not just in Staples Motley history, but also in state history. Congratulations to Audrey on that college commitment as well. Going back further on some other college commitments in Park Rapids area, staying on the track, it was a good day for Grace Officer, who signed with the University of Minnesota Duluth for track and field. Some of the accomplishments she's had, she's been all conference in the 300-meter hurdles and the 4x4 and a state participant, also a Nike national participant and a state champion in the 4x4 as well. So a lot of things, including the state record holder in the 4x4 as well. So Grace Officer going to continue her running career with the University of Minnesota Duluth. And again, another cool thing to see there. Congratulations to her on that accomplishment. Again, other notable achievements across our listening area, things that are going on, commitments we know about. And this is another cool one for Wadena. Deer Creek, one of their more decorated runners in recent history, Grant Nelson, going to be running next year up in Moorhead at Concordia College. He's going to be a cobber running for cross country and track and field programs. Of course, a state participant in cross country this year and over the last couple of years. A really cool moment there for Grant Nelson. Congratulations to him and to what he's worked for to get himself to this point. Congratulations, Grant Nelson. You can see up on Facebook, there's coaches there in track and field and in cross country. You have Coach Brunsberg, you have Coach Olson, you have Coach Damlow. You also have activities director, Norm Gallant there as well, all helping Grant enjoy that moment. So congratulations to him. And when you keep looking down the line of things that are happening, we also have to acknowledge a trio of athletes from Perham who have made their college commitments, and they are going to be playing at the next level in a few different spots. And want to again appreciate Jason Groth over at Perham for kind of giving us this info and some of the deets on what's going on over in Perham as a trio of athletes make their college commitments. You can see in this picture right here. You can also see it's up online at WadenaRadio.com or the Superstation K106 mobile app. And those three athletes include Kaya Anderson, who's going to be playing collegiately for women's basketball at Southwest Minnesota State University in Marshall. And then we have a baseball recruit for Drew Ellingson, and for as well in the program, Reed Wokash. Both of them are going to be playing baseball, for University of Minnesota Crookston. And of course, that Crookston to kind of this area of Minnesota pipeline certainly going strong. That baseball program has done really well, in part because of local area baseball talent going over to Crookston to play. So congratulations to Ellingson and Wokash going to play baseball for Minnesota Crookston, and to Kaya Anderson, who is going to be playing women's basketball next year for Southwest Minnesota State and the Mustangs. Looking down the line, some other announcements that we are kind of keeping tabs on. Nothing quite yet that we haven't already announced. Again, there's a few other athletes around the regions who are going to be making their announcements, and we are going to be keeping a running tab here on the Morning Sports Desk. So just keep listening in, keep watching into our shows, and we will keep you updated as best we can on all of that. So, all right, that's going to do it for wrapping things up on today's episode of the Morning Sports Desk. But before I get out of here, I do want to give you a little peek of this interview of Henning Hornets senior guard Kale Misegades announcing his commitment to play men's basketball next year at Southwest Minnesota State University in Marshall for the Mustangs. He talks about his recruitment. He talks about the upcoming year for Henning boys basketball and some stories of him and playing with his brother and for his dad and things like that. A lot of cool things that Kale talks about, and that interview we'll play for you right now.
So just talk about signing day. You officially made your commitment, and if it wasn't obvious already as to what you're wearing, just tell people where you're going.
Yeah, so I committed today, officially signed to Southwest Minnesota State in Marshall, Minnesota. I'm very excited about that. Committed a while ago, so to finally have it done, it's a good feeling.
And just talk about what that recruiting process is like, kind of from the first moment you had contact with SMSU, and just what that process was like along the way and what eventually led you to pick them.
I've had contact with them for maybe a year or so. Took my junior day visit there kind of last year, I guess, in the fall. Talked to them throughout the whole year. And then came this spring, this AU season, it started heating up again. And they offered me in May, and then I committed a couple weeks later, and the rest is here.
Southwest Minnesota State, obviously a very successful program. Obviously, Coach Beagler, somebody who's been a very renowned kind of in his time. What's something that you've just kind of talk about that connection you've had with him, and what are some of the things you like about him and why you wanted to commit?
He's just a very upfront guy, which I appreciate very much. he cares about the game of basketball, obviously, which is big, but the family aspect that he brings and the culture that he has created there is probably the most important thing. It is really like a family there, and you can see that just the way he talks about his team, about his program, about every one of his players. It's very nice, kind of just whole program there.
What's it like, being recruited? And obviously there are multiple teams that are in on that mix, and you don't need to name any of those teams, but just talk about how, if you have a number, kind of how many teams have you talked with or reached out in some capacity, and what's it like trying to whittle that decision down?
There was probably anywhere from 5 to 8 teams that I was in contact with. There's probably about 4 of them that I was in consistent contact with all the way up to my commitment, and then just a lot of coaches here and there just texting or talking to me after a game for a second. And then once I got the offer from SMSU, that I knew that's exactly where I wanted to go. So every other offer I got just couldn't compete with SMSU, so it made my decision a lot easier.
And now as you kind of look forward, you officially signed, you got that going, and just kind of what are the steps from here, from now till when you go to campus next year in terms of college and kind of talking with them?
Next steps is just, get through this high school season, just compete the best I can with the new guys, and then kind of let it take its course, kind of get the spring off a little bit with some baseball and take my mind off basketball. And then once summer starts and you get on campus, then it's a whole different ball game. Just working every week and being with the guys, and then go from there.
Do you know what day you have to report in the summer? Is that still kind of?
I do not. It's I haven't talked to them about that yet, so got to figure that out. But it's off and on during the summer. Week here there for camps, and then still get to be at home and with the family. So.
And, let's talk about that upcoming boys basketball season here for Henning. Obviously, you guys won Section 6A a year ago and lost a couple really nice seniors and some other players as well. And just talk about what your excitement is coming in for one last ride here in Henning.
It's still exciting for sure. Not many people are expecting much from us. We just rebuild the program every year, and we got a lot of guys coming up. Our JV team had a good record last year. Got a lot of juniors coming up who are ready to step into their roles, and some seniors too who haven't played very much. So it's going to be exciting and a lot different for sure, something a little different that we haven't had in these past few years. So I'm excited to see what we can do and surprise some people.
What do you think is one of the areas, just in terms of on-court, obviously, that you really pride yourself in? Obviously working hard, obviously doing the right things and things like that. But when it just comes to on the floor, on the game, what's an area of your game that you feel like you take yourself over anybody?
I would say defensively, I think, and the ability to just make the right play every time, whether that's me getting a shot, creating one for my teammate, diving on the floor, whatever it is, I feel like I'm very good at just making the right play and the winning play every time.
What do you think is an area where you've just gotten better at, the kind of an area where it's like, hey, I got to work on that, and over the years you've seen it grow and you're like, this has been an area where I just really feel like I've improved?
The biggest improvement has just been, I think, my straight up getting a bucket ability. Just when we need one, just finding a way to get a shot and put it in. Because when I was younger, obviously, I played with a lot better players, and they kind of led the team, and I was kind of just taking a back seat there. And then last couple of years, I've had to step into the main role and create shots for myself and for my team. So that's a big step.
And, what's one area where if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I envision playing college basketball someday, what's the biggest advice you'd give to them to try and get to that point?
I'd say just nose down, just keep working. Everyone's path is different. Everyone does something well. So find the stuff you do well and keep improving on it every single day, and just try and hone in on those skills, and then any sort of weakness you have, just, kind of improve on those, and just find your role and do it the best of your ability.
Last question here for you. Obviously, family, a big part of this Henning boys basketball program. Your dad's the coach. You played with your older brother, Tyson. Just talk about that and how awesome that's been for you, and just this, one more year to get to do that.
Yeah, that's been one of the most fun things of my entire life. Having my dad coach me from pretty much elementary to the way up it's been a blessing and a curse, but it's definitely been more of a blessing. It's fun walking into the gym every day, seeing your dad, having those talks with him either at practice, at home, in the car, whatever. And then, playing with my brother, that was maybe the most fun experience I've had. Just it's a different type of relationship you build when you do that, when you go through those tough things together. and you just kind of grow together on the court, and then you talk about a lot of things off the court too. So it's if you have the opportunity to do that, don't take it for granted for sure.
All right, I got one more thing for you. Any story you got to tell? Anything about playing with your brother, about playing for your dad? Any kind of stories you guys have had about the competitiveness you guys have all kind of had together?
Yeah, I'd say, especially my younger years when my brother was still in high school, practices got a little chippy, and the home could get a little heated at times. I remember a few times Tyson and I, my brother, would go home and maybe complain to my mom about something my dad said or did to us at practice, or things that we didn't think were fair that he did to Tyson and I, and just kind of battled through that. And it's kind of part of the process, and he's doing it out of love for us and for our team. But in the moment, it was very difficult to kind of understand that. But
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and watch every show on YouTube.